and welcome to A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV. Now, I've got, we're going to have an interesting show. I know we are. But before I listen to, or before we have two lovely readers and two lovely callers, we're going to have, I always like to do a little spiritual talk. And so the talk that I thought I would do today is, now, for those of you who regularly watch, I have spoken about a book that my friend has written, and I just want to speak about it again. And it's, I'm going to hold it up. So for those who will be watching later on or getting it or looking later on, it's called From Dark to Light, a memoir of spiritual awakening. And it's written by Dawn M. Barlow. And anybody who's interested can get it on Amazon.com, or I think you can get it on her website, which is dawnbarlow.com. Anyway, I wanted to sort of talk about it because I think that this is a book that's quite fascinating. And where I think it's fascinating is that, you know, this is a spiritual show, and this is about, you know, people are looking for reading, looking for advice, and looking for help in their lives. And this is a book that sort of is almost, in a way, it's a little bit of a self-help book. And it's also a book of, look at what I experienced, and look at what I achieved, and look at how I gained something special in my life. And what she gained in her life was she went from all the difficulties and the tragedies and, the difficulties in her life. And with the help of the spirit world, she moved her whole existence, her whole being to the light. And in a way, I think that a lot of you could take something from this. You know, if you have sort of difficulties or addictions or, you know, any problems in your life, I think that you could take a lot from reading her memoir. And she also, you know, the second part of the book, she gives a lot of, she writes down the words that she received, not only from the angelic realm, but she also received from, you know, a couple of interesting celebrities. And she also received from, you know, people from the Bible area like Jesus and Mother Mary. And so, you know, it's fascinating reading and the advice that all of them gave to her. But what's interesting now, if you're a Michael Jackson fan, and I'm sure that some of you are, because lots of people are, but if you are, then there's a whole chapter that she's devoted to Michael Jackson, because he actually came through to her and communicated. I know that in America, the whole Lizzie Borden story is quite fascinating. And again, she's been in a fortunate position. Not only does she live around the corner from the house where it all happened, but she was in a fortunate position to communicate with Lizzie. And Lizzie does reveal what happened, as does Michael Jackson. He reveals some of the truths of what happened in his life that we've all been sort of wondering about, what exactly happened. There's always sort of things in the media and things that have been written about these people. So this is sort of something that's quite interesting. You know, going back to the whole concept of being in the light is where we feel comfortable, is where we feel, you know, happy in our lives, where we don't have this. Of course, we're going to have problems because that's life, but it's the way that we deal with things with positivity and an understanding of how the spirit world work around us. And I feel that anybody that sort of struggles in their life or has difficulties would gain so much from reading this book. So please, if you're listening, think about buying this book. It's on Amazon.com. And again, I'm going to hold it up. It's From Dark to Light, and it goes a bit blurred. And it's a memoir of spiritual awakening by Dawn M. Barlow, and that can be found on Amazon.com or dawnbarlow.com. Dawn Barden, sorry, I'm getting my words all muddled up. dawnbarlowmedium.com is the correct website address. So that's sort of my little spiritual talk. Please get it. You'd love it. It's fascinating reading. Her experiences are, some of them are quite outstanding. Anyway, I know that we have a caller. We have Shauna in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, USA. Hello, Shauna. Are you there?
Hello.
Hello. And now, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So the sound is a little bit off, so I can hardly hear you. But so I'm a medium, and I can connect to loved ones for you, or I can look at and give you some guidance about your life. Is there a particular way that you would like me to work?
I thought I knew. Probably whatever you're drawn to. I would love to hear from my loved ones, but whatever you're drawn to.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm in I feel that I'm in a unique position, because when I look to sort of get, some of the loved ones that people want, I'm generally quite successful of being able to get them. And we've only got 10 minutes. So if there's somebody in particular that you want to hear from, just give me the name and I'll get them, name and relationship, and I'll get them. And of course, I'll look to give you some evidence to prove to you that I have them.
Sandra Green is my mother.
Your mother, and what was her name?
Sandra Green Rudd.
I didn't quite hear that, but I'll go with mother. So just hold on a moment. Right. So I've got a lady that's coming in straight away, and I feel that this lady is quite a character, and I feel that she was somebody that would have been. There's a little bit of a sort of naughty little sort of personality to her. Would that make sense with her?
What kind of personality?
A naughty, like a we in England we call it a cheeky personality, but I've learned over the years that that's not quite understood in America. But it's sort of like a playful naughty, like not naughty, but playful.
She kind of was. Yeah.
And she's showing me a school uniform on you, and I feel that I feel you're wearing socks up to your knees, and I feel like there's a sort of quite a uniform that I'm seeing on you, and I feel that
that's not ringing a bell. That's not ringing. I don't recall that.
Okay, well, I'm being given this uniform that I'm seeing. So there must be some connection somewhere else then that I'm sort of missing. But I'm being told that this lady that is connected to you, your mother. I'm being told that she's making me feel that there's a little bit of sadness in her life, and I feel that she's making me feel that it's almost like her life didn't go in the way that she would have liked it to be. I feel like there's a little bit of heartache and a bit of sadness attached to her life. Would you understand that?
Yes.
And she's saying to me that she always tried to sort of protect her children, and I feel that she always tried to, look after her children well. And I feel that she's making me feel as though that there were people around her that she didn't particularly like or trust, and there's a real sort of sense of wanting to protect my children in amongst all of that.
Yeah.
And I feel with her that there's definitely a sense of protection with you, and I feel this really, really strongly, this need to protect you. And she's making me feel that at times she's making me feel like at times she wasn't able to protect you in the way that she would have liked. But I feel that it was something that was a real strong instinct with her to protect you.
Yes.
Because she's making me feel like there's people around you, people around the family, or people around that aren't to be trusted, and she's making that very, very clear to me.
Yes.
And she's saying to me that she's making me feel as though you have some photographs out, that either you've been looking at them or they're in sort of out on display somewhere in your home, because she's making me feel as though you've been recently looking at the photographs with a little bit of sadness, when you look at the photographs. And I feel that this is one that's attached to your mum, because she's making me feel that she was there when you were looking at these photographs, because I feel like you've got almost like a whole range of people that have gone to the spirit world, in these. I feel like there's a collection of spiritual of spirit people in these photographs, and I feel like there's a sort of a sense with you that the special people in your life have all gone over to the spirit world. Would that make sense to you?
Yes. Yes.
And she's saying to me that in the spirit world that they're all together. She's saying we're all here, and she's making me, and she's showing me how they're all surrounding me as I'm talking to you. And she's saying to me that they've been talking about you quite a lot in the spirit world, and they've been saying to each other that we've got to do something to help Shauna, because they're saying to me that that you are struggling, I feel, emotionally, and feel a little bit helpless in your life at the moment. Would that make sense to you?
Yes.
And I feel also there's a man in the spirit world that is close by to your mum, and
Yes.
he's making me feel that it's really important that he comes and speaks to you and lets you know that he's all right, and that he's because he says that you've been wondering whether he's all right, whether he's sort of got to the spirit world, but he's saying to me, I'm all right, and everybody's here with me, and I'm okay. So that suggests to me that he hasn't long passed, because when people are saying I'm all right, I've got here, is generally when it's a recent passing. And he's saying to me that he feels like he's let you down, by dying. It's like he feels that, it's like he's saying to me that you've had so many difficulties in your life, and he like your mum was somebody that was always willing to protect you and look after you. And he's saying to me that he just wishes that he could still be here to look after you, because what they're saying is it's like there's nobody there to look after you physically. And there's a sort of a sense of been alone. Um, and and so this gentleman and your mum are both saying to me that they are putting things in place. Oh, and this is interesting. They've had permission from God to help you, because sometimes they have to stand by and not intervene because it's our wish for our spiritual growth. But they've had permission from God to intervene and also step up to the plate and help you. And you know, when the spirit world say they're going to help, just be amazed at how doors open and how things happen. But I just get that feeling that you're going to get a lot of support. I'm being shown a hospital, and I don't know whether a hospital has been significant with you at the moment, or whether you've had some hospital visits.
I had it. My mom, she was in the hospital a lot.
Maybe this is a memory link then from her, because yes, she's confirming. She's just nodding her head at me. She's just saying that she's making me feel like there was a, almost like you were just amazing at helping her and supporting her through that process. Because I feel like you are backwards and forwards on, to help her and support her through that. And I feel that with your mum, she's saying to me, it was quite a challenging illness. She had to have lots of treatments and lots of sort of, and I feel like there was lots of sort of, it wasn't sort of, like a comfortable sort of illness that she had. Not that any illness is comfortable, but I just feel like it was a bit of a challenge for her. And she's actually saying that sorry?
She had emphysema and COPD.
She's saying to me that she's quite glad to be over in the spirit world, because she it's like she's making me feel like she's had enough, and is glad to be over there. I just want to let you know that the main message that's coming through from your family that's in the spirit world is they're here to help you, and they're going to make sure that things are okay for you. Now, I've got another caller waiting, so I'm going to have to leave there. I've gone over a little bit. Shauna, do find me on Facebook if you need to speak any further. My name is Gail Moffat, and thank you for calling in. Thank you. Right, I believe we have Dorothy in Northeast Harbour, Maine. Are you there, Dorothy?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Dorothy. Thank you for being patient with me and waiting. We've only got about 8 minutes left, so can I let me know where you want me to focus? Do you want me to connect to a loved one, or do you want specific guidance? And if so, where? And if so, whom?
Okay, if it's possible, I would like to connect with my father.
Your father, okay. As you were saying, I would like to. I suddenly saw a man just instantly sort of step in front of me, and he's now let me see. He's making me feel as he comes into me. He's making me feel like he was quite jovial and upbeat and sort of full of fun. And I feel, but he's saying to me that he's saying to me that he wasn't always like that. But that's how he's come in initially. Would that make sense to you?
Yes.
Now he's telling me that there were times when he could be quite moody, and he could be quite bad tempered as well. And he's making me feel that his emotions could be sort of a bit sort of up and down. Like sometimes he's full of the joys of spring and happy and fun, enormous fun. And then the next minute he snaps and could be quite sort of difficult or bad tempered or cross or something like that. Is that ringing bells with you?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, good. I've got the right person then. um, he's saying to me that the main thing that he wants to say to you is he wants to apologize to you, because he says that he's saying to me that um, he's making me feel as though there were times when he let you down and that he wasn't there for you, and he's making me feel that there were times when he made your life a little bit difficult. Would you understand that?
Yes.
And I get this really big apology. Um, is your mother in the spirit world? And the
Yes.
reason why, okay, because the reason why I say that is he used the words, "Your mother has told me off." Yeah, it's like she's giving him a real dressing down of his behaviour whilst he was on the earth plane, and he makes me feel as though when he went to the spirit world, he met up with your mother, and this is what she said to him. Um, so that would suggest to me, and not necessarily, but it would sort of suggest to me that she went first. Would that make sense?
No, he went first.
He went first. Okay, but when she went
unless
sorry,
I had my blood tested when I was 67. I'm 71 now, and my blood test seemed to my blood type seemed to reveal that he was my father, but the woman that raised me could not have been my mother because of her blood type. She couldn't have produced an O blood type, and I'm an O blood type, the same as my father. So there's a possibility that, a very strong possibility that I have a different mother.
Right. Okay. Well, that's really interesting, isn't it? But I just know that I feel that. So either this is when your mother went across that you know of, the mother that you knew, or it's a mother that met him when he went across. But I just know that this lady, she has almost like ripped him apart. How dare you treat her like this? This is disgusting, and sort of really got sort of quite heavy with him, and I feel that I feel like the two of them have had a lot of discussions about things to do with their life together, and discussions about their marriage and some of the things that they've done or said or difficulties that they've had, and I feel like they've had to sort of almost like work through some stuff since they've been in the spirit world. Would you understand that they would have to do that?
I didn't quite catch what you said. The connection was a little off.
Okay. What I was basically saying is that they had some difficulties in their life, and therefore they had to work through some of those difficulties once they both got over to the spirit world.
Oh yes, yes.
And I know that they've spent an enormous amount of time working through those difficulties, and actually they're making me feel that they've been successful in working through their difficulties, and are able now to go to sort of, acknowledge their friendship, but really they're going their separate ways. They don't want to be together. Would you understand that for them?
Yes.
And that's what they're telling me. But your dad, most of all, wants to apologise to you for some of his actions and his behaviour, because I feel like he could be quite a difficult person to live with, both for your mother and for yourself, whilst you were alive. No, you're still alive. Whilst
Yes, I am. I haven't crossed over yet.
Sorry, I'm not sending you across. And also, Dorothy, there are no predictions here for that either. but yeah, so whilst they were alive and living with you is what I meant to say, is how that they I feel that he was just a difficult person, and I feel that not only does he want to apologize to you, but he's dealt with many of his issues in the spirit world, including his relationship with your mum. And I feel this is the mother that lived with you, that you knew as your mother. And but the interesting thing is that they have gone, whilst they're friends, they've gone their separate ways in the spirit world. And I think they will come back together and, here and there and say, hello, how are you doing in the spirit world? But they're not sort of like husband and wife in the spirit world. They've chosen to go, live separate lives, live separately in the spirit world. That's been their choice, which is sort of interesting. So I know that these readings are so short, but if you want to find me and get more, do find me on Facebook, which is Gail Moffat, and you can find me there if you want to ask any questions or talk to me. It would be great to hear from you. So I hope that helps,
Okay.
Dorothy.
Well, I have, my father and I have done a lot of forgiveness with each other from the other side.
Yeah. But I do feel that he has put a lot of his, almost like, demons to rest. He's put his bad things to rest.